coming back to then this being mindful. So with practice, you'll start to maybe notice some kind of sensation in your body. Yes? Now we can do perhaps more on this next time, but just practice the breathing. So how do I bring myself to mindfulness? Well, a simple way you could say, have you ever heard the phrase come back to your senses? Yes, now we tend to say if we think that someone's being a bit, maybe if a child's playing up or something, come back to your senses. But just pay attention to what does that mean? What are your senses? Well, it's what I can see, what I can smell, what I can hear, what I can touch, what I can taste, yes? They're my senses. And look how detached you are from your senses most of the time because you're too busy in your head thinking. So just for example, right now, wherever you're sitting, pay attention to the weight of your body on the chair. So just notice that there's various points that your body is in contact with the chair, assuming that you're sitting. And notice, can you feel the weight of that? Can you feel it's like there's almost a resistance from the chair? Now, were you aware of that before I brought your attention to it?
No.
No. So now you're aware of it. So now you're just being mindful of yourself in the chair. So it's the same thing. You don't need to have an opinion about that or be judging it, but just by noticing that, just by bringing your attention to that, where's the thinking mind gone? Where's the ego mind gone? It's not there, is it?
No.
No? So this is just a habit. It's a practice to start bringing your attention, so I can bring my attention to what I can see, to what I can hear, to what I can feel, even to what I can touch or taste. Or I can bring my attention to my breathing. Because wherever you are, you're hopefully always breathing. Yes? So let's just do a quick thing with breathing. Just pay attention now. Make your breathing conscious for the next minute. So just become conscious of your breathing. So just pay attention to it. And see if you notice anything about your breathing as you start to pay attention to it, as you start to be conscious of it. So just being conscious of your breath going in and out, chest expanding, ribs moving, tummy expanding. So was there anything that you noticed when you became conscious of your breathing?
How the air flows through my nostrils.
Uh-huh.
And now it comes back out, but I can't feel it. I can't feel it come back out. I can feel it going in.
Yeah.
I can't feel it going back out. Like say my chest moving, my stomach moving. I can feel my heart beating in my head.
Yeah.
But
So it's just being aware of that. But did you notice a change in your breathing when you made it conscious? Did you notice your breathing became deeper?
And slower.
Yeah, deeper and slower.
Oh,
So as soon as we start to become conscious of our breathing, we tend to breathe deeper and slower. And that's the type of breathing that we want, because slower, deeper breathing is going to calm our mind. It's going to calm our body. So when we're looking to become present, conscious, mindful, the breathing is always the way in. So we take these nice long breaths in, make our breathing conscious, and then our mind slows down and we can start to then pay attention to either our breathing, so we can be mindful of our breathing, and people's ability to tune into their body, because there's like an energy flow in the body that's always there. Now some people are very aware of this, some people aren't aware of it at all. It's a skill to learn. So when I'm talking about this, if you can't feel something in your body straight away, it doesn't matter. Most people can't straight away. It needs practice. But it is there. And if you practice this sort of breathing technique where you're just breathing deeply in through your nose, out through your mouth, and if you can do this throughout the day, throughout every day, and maybe even just sit sometimes and breathe deeply, and then you start to pay attention, for example, to your feet, to your hands. You maybe even start noticing in your legs now. Can you notice that there's like a slight almost like a vibration, like a slight resonance that you can feel, like a, how would you describe it, Sam?
Tingle.
Tingle, yeah, so you can feel that tingling. Kerry, you feeling that?
Yep.
Yeah? So this is there in your body all the time, but you're never normally aware of it, because you're not normally consciously aware. You're normally unconscious because you're in your egoic thinking mind, yes? But when we start to let go of that, and so when we're not thinking, now if I said to you, don't think, the minute I say to you, don't think, so if I say to you right now, don't think about a blue elephant, don't think about it. Don't think about the blue elephant. There's blue elephants everywhere, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because the only thing that's in your mind is a blue elephant, because you're desperately trying not to think about the thing that you're trying not to think about the thing that you're trying not to think about. But you have to keep reminding yourself about what it is you're not trying to think about, so that you can remember what it is I'm trying not to think about. So you go mad. So if you say don't think, it's impossible pretty much to say don't think. So instead of saying, well, don't think, what we're going to do is something instead. So when we're saying, if we want to think less and we want to become more mindful, more conscious, then instead of trying not to think, we merely start to breathe gently and start to bring our attention to the body, to sensations. And okay, we're all quite relaxed here, but it could be possible that you're a bit stressed, very stressed. It could be possible that you've got sensations in your body which are really unpleasant. You could be feeling anger, you could be feeling stress, frustration, anxiety. Now, when you're breathing, you still go through the same process. You just sit quietly and you carry on with that deep breathing, but you might be noticing these feelings. But instead of the way that you normally react by going into your mind thinking, oh, this is this person's fault or that person's fault, or this shouldn't have happened, or whatever it is, you just pay attention and you notice these feelings and try to almost start to just notice them, like they're moving through you. So like if you imagine looking up at the sky and there's the clouds, yes? See if you can imagine that you're not the clouds, you're the sky, yes? And there's just clouds moving across the sky. But they always move and disappear, don't they? And then more come. So see if you can just pay attention to that. So when you've got these feelings moving through the body, which could be, unpleasant feelings, anxiety, frustration, whatever, instead of saying, if you say, I am angry, you're taking ownership of it. If you say, oh, okay, I can notice that there's some feelings of anger moving through my body, then you're not taking ownership of it. It's not yours. And you have this sense of then it's just moving through and you just breathe through it. And so if a thought comes in, which is an angry thought, and that disturbs you, you can just notice it, name it and say, oh, okay, there's an angry cloud that's just popped in, an angry thought. That's it. But we don't need to judge it. We don't need to follow the story. We don't need to say, yes, that's because they were horrible. You just notice it. And then let it move on, and you just keep bringing your attention back to your breathing, back to the body, and eventually, with practice, this all starts to calm down.